On today's episode of the Views from Section 400 podcast, it's the winners and losers of the NFL draft, because there's nothing better than saying who won the NFL draft right after it happened and seeing that take burn into flames 5 years later. We do that, and we have some playoff recap of basketball and hockey. It's all coming up next. See you guys soon.
And just like that, we're back.
A16, turn me up.
Welcome into episode 262 of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Today is April 28th, 2026. And Jack, the NFL draft is over, and I think it's time to do some winners and losers because there's nothing people in the media get right more often than grading NFL drafts right after they happen.
Oh, man, and that's going to be something fun to talk about today is, we obviously have our opinions on players, on decisions, who got drafted, where they got drafted, all that good stuff. But at this point, it's all just speculation. These guys haven't played a down of NFL football yet. It's Travis Hunter was the big one last year. I had to talk about a ton and prepared to do it for some of these other guys this year.
Yeah, remember when Josh Rosen said he was going to make every team regret passing on him?
Yeah, I don't think a single team regretted that. The only team that regretted taking him was the team that actually took him, which was the Cardinals.
Could argue that was what set the Cardinals back into the poverty franchise they are today. Although they were already pretty poverty before that.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, when was like their last moment of greatness, like losing that Super Bowl to Big Ben?
I think you can call them a normal functioning franchise up until Larry Fitzgerald retired. Because at least they had Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, but even some of his final years, they were not a solid franchise.
The D-Hop's down there somewhere year with Kyler and D-Hop. Maybe that's the last one.
But that was post Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
That was a blip. Yeah. No. It's been a little while. It's been a little while for sure.
All right. Either way, we're here to talk about this draft. And I want to get right into this because I don't know if it's going to land as a winner or a loser, but I know you want to talk about it. James Gladstone is either smarter than everybody else in football or he has David Stern syndrome.
I'd like to think it's the first. Can you try to explain what you mean by that?
Well, okay. Well, he took two tight ends late, and they took an edge rusher that was 100 over consensus. And consensus is, give or take as much stock in the consensus ranking as you want. But there were some reaches, you would say, at least people thought there were.
Yeah, I definitely heard that. I mean, Mel Kiper and his big board can do whatever they want to do. People can believe it, people cannot. I mean, I think we all remember how annoying Mel Kiper was about Shedeur Sanders last year. So take it with what you wish, whether you use his board or Peter Schrager's or anybody, ESPN, CBS, who everyone's got projections, predictions. Some people are right, some people aren't. That's just the way it goes. That they got to make predictions, and that's the business. At the end of the day, it's our football team. It's Gladstone's football team. He wanted the tight ends. He wanted the edge rusher, the D tackle, the safety. A lot of day 2 picks, 4 day 2 picks. So it was. Overall, I'm happy. Let's just first of all say the Jags didn't have a glaring, we need to get a guy to fill this void right here, right now. We're going to have issues if that doesn't happen. We've got depth. We were a playoff team last year. Should have been a little bit deeper than we actually were, but shout out Josh Allen. He did his thing. We're in a good spot. We added pieces, like I said, tight end, D tackle, an edge rusher, a safety. These are like rotational pieces that if one of these guys can land and stick and be great, that's awesome. But we've got the guys that we have right now that, we're starting and playing and going to try and win a Super Bowl with right now. So this overall was a pretty good draft by Gladstone. Like I'm saying, nothing stood out. It's hard to follow up the Travis Hunter draft where he makes a big splash play like that. But I'm very happy with what we got, at least at this point, right? Like we're talking about. These guys haven't put a single snap on the field yet. But theoretically speaking, I can see the vision that Gladstone and Cohen went for. And let's see how it ends up playing out.
I see what you're saying. I think for me, as an outsider looking in, it felt a lot like Gladstone had the same mindset you did, where he's like, we're kind of just good everywhere, and we should have gone further in the playoffs last year, if not for Josh Allen turning into Superman. But I think not that he panics the wrong word, but kind of just didn't know. It felt like they didn't really have a plan. And I know I wouldn't have a good plan, but maybe just trade all your picks for picks next year. It felt like he wasted every pick.
Well, we took 10 guys. We had 11 draft picks this year, took 10 guys. We ended up trading one away. And then next year we have another 10 picks. So, we have plenty of draft picks. As Gladstone was saying, we have plenty of at-bats. And, as someone who played baseball, you go 3 for 10. That's pretty good business. So I'm not saying that that's
in the draft.
I'm not saying
that's what you want to compare it to.
I'm not saying that that's the hit rate we're going for, but I definitely can appreciate the fact that 20 at bats between this year and next year's draft. That's a good amount. A lot of teams don't have that. So I'm excited to see. I think that the big thing you can sense right now is I have faith. I'm trusting what he's doing, what they're doing. Same could not be said in the past when Trent Baalke was the GM and Peterson, Meyer. I mean, I've gone into lengths about how much that was just terrible, but I'm trusting.
You even said his name.
I'm starting to get around to it. Yeah, I've been talking to the therapist about Urban Meyer, my sports therapist. Spend most of my time talking about Urban Meyer and Auburn football, but it's all good. All good.
I guess that's fair of you. Like, the Jaguars should be good next year. They should be better. And the draft, you're not really. It's not that it doesn't matter, but you put less stock into it than you would if you had Blake Bortles and.
Right, you're a 4-win team like we have been in the past. And the last thing I want to say on that is everyone was, you guys paid a king's ransom to trade up and get Travis Hunter last year, giving away your first round pick this year. I mean, looking at where our first round pick would have been this year in the cream of the crop over there, or just the crop that's over there, I'm not really that mad that we missed out on a first round pick this year. It would have been like mid to late 20s, and it's not the worst thing in the world to miss out on a pick like that.
Yeah, Jadarian Price, maybe. Add another running back to that rotation.
Keldrick Falk. I don't even know.
Yeah, that would have been fun for you, at least, not having him go to Tennessee.
Yes. And if you want to get right into it, I can talk about my other winner from the draft. I am calling the Jags a winner of this draft just because, as a fan, I know we didn't need much. What we did, there wasn't anything too crazy. I know people are like, yeah, they went and reached on this tight end or this edge rusher. Whatever. You've been in a fantasy draft before. You go and get your guy. You get him, right? And especially
you got to know when to get him.
Yeah, but especially in this situation when, it's not just 1 year and we're repicking our team next year. We're investing in a guy for the next 3-4 years at the minimum. Go get your guy. So I'm not mad about it at this point. We're going to have to see how it plays out, of course. My other winner, staying in division, though, as much as I hate to say it, the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressed with their first round. And I'm not going to get into their later round picks. I'm not doing that as a Jaguars fan. But their first round, very impressed with it. I mean, you take the surefire number 1 overall receiver in Carnell Tate, whether you believe Tyson or Lemon have the chance to be better, by all means, you can think that. But as Matt likes to point out, that hit rate on Ohio State wide receivers, they haven't missed in a while. So getting Tate there, surefire number 1 receiver for Cam Ward is pretty awesome for them. And then you finish the back end of the first round, you trade back up into it, and you get Keldrick Falk. a guy that I've been highly touting, and I know I got my Auburn bias, but he's a game wrecker, and I'm really, really not excited to see him and Jeffrey Simmons lined up on that D-line together.
Yeah, that's going to be a super fun D-line. And if you just look at these Ohio State wide receivers since 2022, you have Marvin Harrison, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Carnell Tate now, Chris Olave, Emeka Egbuka. If you want to go deeper, Terry McLaurin. So, yeah, they don't miss in the NFL. And if you want to get your quarterback that looked kind of shaky but had a good end to the season before he got hurt, a bona fide weapon, you go get an Ohio State wide receiver. And even, like, I think they drafted a center, a tackle, a guard to help out on the line. They got Nicholas Singleton, who's super fast. Can't really read a hole, but he ran on Auburn for like 200 yards. So he could be something there in the backfield. I think they did exactly what they needed to do to build around the quarterback. And, yeah, you'll address the defense later, but you got a star in Falk, hopefully, to at least anchor it.
They got Falk, and then in the second round, they spent their second-round pick on a linebacker. Let me pull it up real quick.
Oh, yeah, Anthony Hill. Okay.
Anthony Hill out of Texas.
Yeah, you get two good edge rushers. You get a wide receiver, a guard and a center, and Singleton. Like, that's a really good day at the office, assuming they're all good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously these picks have to pan out, but I unfortunately was pretty impressed by Tennessee's draft.
Well, Dable probably saved Joe Schmo's job the first time by drafting Jackson Dart, telling him to trade up. So maybe he knows what he's doing over there.
Maybe it's all Joe Schmo, and it was never Dable. Even though you called for Dable's head.
Well, I call for his head as a football coach, but maybe player personnel is where his future lies.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm actually going to make Joe Schmo one of my draft winners. Now, I don't know if it was Joe Schmo or if it's Harbaugh. I'm not sure both. Joe Tisch or John Mara's dying estate. But the Giants, the more I've sat with this draft, and it's not going to make a lot of sense because as we're recording this, we just posted a clip on socials about how much I hated the first-round pick. But as I've sat with the draft and I've watched highlights of Arvell Reese be an off-ball linebacker and stand up and not just be an edge rusher, and kind of sat with, hey, we can move Francis to guard, and a guard named Francis is definitely going to piss off some opposing pass rushers. Who wants to get blocked by a guy named Francis? I like Colton Hood. He seems like a cool guy, and he committed to Auburn. He realized Hugh Freeze was a prick, so he left. Whatever. Can't blame him for that. And Malachi Fields, it's a big body receiver. Maybe he'll be Hakeem Nicks 2.0. So I'm happy. I'm cautiously optimistic. I wish Caleb Downs was a New York Giant, but also he's small, so I'm fine with him being a Cowboy.
I'm really glad that you're feeling this way because I know you didn't feel this optimistic after that first round. I know we were watching that together. You had some bad vibes coming out of that. And, so much so that I actually went as far to make the Giants one of my losers of the week. Losers of the draft. And, it mainly had to do with the clip that we posted, right? You were saying, I really want to get either Lemon or Downs with that second pick. And not only did you not get either of them, but they are both staying in your division.
Yeah.
And Downs is going to the Cowboys and Lemon's going to the Eagles. So not only did you not get the two guys you wanted.
So when I made the Giants my winner, I was really hoping you wouldn't connect the dots on that because I thought about that too. And it really does suck. I forgot I said exactly that too because I know I went in the draft wanting Downs and a receiver. And in the clip, I'm like, well, I wish it would be Lemons or Downs. And then, of course, the Eagles and the Cowboys, which isn't great.
No. I mean, for rooting interest, I'm going to enjoy all of that afterwards and be able to bring up this draft for hopefully a long, long time, which is exciting. But also, not to just be selfish about us, I'm sure you saw your boy Malik Neighbors talking with Micah Parsons about, no, are you kidding me? The Cowboys are getting Downs. Like, I don't have to play against him. I wish he was on the team. I have to play against him twice a year. Like, that's a guy, and he was calling him a freak or like, whatever, super good, like very good. For that reason, I got to make the Giants one of my losers of the draft.
That's also watching neighbors get mad and angry and
Scared.
basically on a therapeutic couch with Micah Parsons was not great, but receivers don't care about linemen. That's kind of like that's
They
what I
for
keep going
safety.
back to. Yeah, but he's not gonna be like, oh, I'd rather draft a lineman than a safety
Oh,
here.
yeah. Okay.
He wants the playmaker. I keep going back to like, if this is gonna work, you have to protect Jackson Dart. You need a quarterback. It's something the Giants haven't had since Eli Manning. Really, when Eli Manning was decent. The last couple of years of Eli Manning, he wasn't even an NFL quarterback. So if you can just protect Jackson Dart, but it takes a lot to do that, and he has to protect himself. And Caleb Downs was right there. But maybe at least they got Malachi Fields, and that could maybe make Mekhi Lemon not getting him hurt a little less if Fields can become this good number 2 receiver. And it'll help that Neighbors is taking up double coverage. It does hurt though not having Caleb Downs. But I think they did a good job. I think the draft was solid, and Colton Hood is going to be a good nickel cornerback in the league. I'm optimistic.
I'm glad you're optimistic. I really am. I don't think I would be able to deal with another 3-win pessimistic Brian Giant football season again.
Well, we'll see what happens by week 4. But for now, I'm cautiously optimistic. If Malachi Fields can just be a good receiver, that's a hell of an offense. And they have like, I keep always forgetting they had a pretty good free agency on defense. Like they have Tremont Edmonds there now. So you have him and Arvell Reese with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau. Like that's a good front 7.
Definitely. Definitely. And I will say it's going to come down to the offense for me. And I know Jackson Dart was able to show some Superman ability, but like you're saying, if they can't protect him, if he gets hurt, you're not winning football games. If Malik Neighbors can't come back healthy from his ACL and be at least 80% of what he was, like their offense is going to struggle, especially if this new wide receiver can't make a jump. No Wandale there anymore. I don't really know what you're going on with your tight end room. You're always the most optimistic.
Theo Johnson.
Yeah, you're always the most optimistic with your giant tight ends, and I don't know if they're ever going to perform for you, but
this is the year for Theo. He showed signs last year.
This is the year.
He had some breakout games last year. He just has to put it all together now.
All right. We'll see. And then what's the deal with your running back room? Is Cam Scatterbo going to be able to play this year? Or
He should be good to go. They're posting clips of him yelling around practice on social media.
All right.
He's up and moving around.
Well, like I said, I hope your Giants are good, man. It makes for more happiness.
They just have to be in it by like Thanksgiving. If I could get a Thanksgiving weekend game where they're like, what I guess it'd be 8-8. No, that's too much. 6-7, 7-6 by Thanksgiving. Just give me that. Around 500. Maybe a chance to spoil someone's season. Maybe sneak into that last wild card. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, not on like a 3 or 4 game losing streak as well.
Yeah, no, they can't start 6-3 and then go into that 6-7. Like if they start 3-7 and then get to 5-7, 6-7, I'd take that. Just give me a fun month. I need a fun month out of this season, like a 3-1 month. That's the goal. That's my parameter for a Giants successful season, a 3-1 month.
Hopefully, you're not 0-9 before that.
Well, depending on how the mock drafts are looking.
Who's your other winner of the week?
It's actually going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, and more importantly, Jalen Hurts.
Look at us doing it. Our teams, and then an interdivisional team.
Kind of wild, but hey, there was that hit piece about Jalen Hurts in the offseason. I'm sure they had some leaks in that front office that Big Dom is probably taking care of by now. But they got Mekhi Lemon, they got Eli Stowers, and they get the next Taysom Hill and Cole Payton, who definitely won't take Jalen Hurts' job and get revenge for the last North Dakota State quarterback that Jalen Hurts took the job of in Philadelphia. I like what they did. They know their quarterback's kind of on the hot seat, at least in the national media's eyes, so they helped him out.
It's draft season. The Eagles, with Howie Roseman at the helm, are always going to be winners around draft season, and we should just expect it. It's sort of inevitable. It was so funny seeing the whole trade up and take Mekhi Lemon when the Steelers had him on the phone. I'm sure you saw this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just I understand Tomlin's not there anymore. It's sort of like a new regime in Pittsburgh, but like how are you gonna let that happen? Like how are you gonna get caught with your pants down like that? That's so embarrassing. And only Howie Roseman can do it.
And the Steelers are kind of falling into this. They're one of my losers because they're kind of falling into this realm of like purgatory football teams where things like this happen to the Steelers now. Things like this didn't happen to the Steelers. They're kind of on that arc that the Cowboys took, where the Cowboys were on top for so long, and now they're like 8-8, purgatory, Jerry Jones. They're basically all Cowboys at this point. The Steelers are starting to become that now. They won't move on from Aaron Rodgers. They're getting cucked by their in-state rivals for draft picks. At the draft they're hosting, and they're drafting Drew Aller when they drafted a quarterback last year, and they still have Aaron Rodgers on the roster.
And after Lemon got snatched from them, they made a panic pick and just took the best offensive lineman available as they have for the past few years.
I don't understand. I feel bad for Steelers fans. Like, you had it so good, and now
Do you really feel bad for them? They've had such an incredible history. 6 Super Bowls, two of them coming in like the last,
it's been a while.
I guess like 20 years at this point.
They have basically been – they haven't been the Giants, but the last time they were dominant was the same time the Giants. That was that same time frame, really. I mean, you can count when they went to the playoffs.
It's pretty fair to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had a better history than the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, what, 6 Super Bowls to 4?
Yeah.
They're both considered like the upper tier of like histories for football teams.
Definitely.
Steelers are definitely more up there. But I'm trying to say, like,
quite honestly, I think it goes like Patriots, Steelers, Niners, and then, Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles, and whoever else.
Yeah, I just hate giving Big Ben credit.
You kind of have to.
I know. The way I have it set up is Patriots, Niners, Cowboys, Steelers, and then Giants and the rest of those multi-Super Bowl champion teams.
I think you got to put a little bit more respect on the Steelers franchise.
They're terrible towel merchants. The best play in their franchise history shouldn't have happened.
They've had a lot of them.
Immaculate reception, the ball hit the ground. It wasn't even close.
There have been multiple ones, though. They all, it's just so many records in history, and Heinz Field, and
it's not even called Heinz Field. Maybe that's why I'm mad at the Steelers.
Not anymore.
Let that go.
Maybe that was the last time they were great.
Maybe. I don't know. Steelers, just be better. But don't be better. Like, be better the way the Giants are trying to be better, the way the Eagles got better. Don't just be mediocre like the Cowboys. Yeah, that's what you get when you draft Drew Aller in the 4th round.
Yeah, the Steelers are like the Heat.
That's a good comparison. It's actually a great comparison.
Blow it up. Start anew.
But even the Heat made it to the finals 2 times in the last 5 years, right?
2 times in the last 5 years? No.
Well, one has the asterisk.
They had the one run with Jimmy. That's it.
Well, they had that, and then didn't they have another one with Hero and Bam as an 8 seed? Maybe it was the Eastern Conference Finals?
No, that was definitely with Jimmy.
Well, they did. Jimmy was in the bubble, but they had another one that was out of the bubble. Now I got to look it up.
There's definitely not been a Heat team not led by Jimmy Butler to do well recently.
Well, they might have both been Jimmy. Yeah,
they probably were both Jimmy. That's what I'm saying. Jimmy Butler has led the Heat to some good moments in the past few years.
They went to the finals twice.
Yeah, but they don't have 2 championships.
Well, they have 2 Eastern Conference banners.
I didn't think
more than the Steelers have done.
Well, Big Ben had 2 actual championships.
But not in the last 5 years.
Well, no. When were those? Like 2010?
2007 and 2011. 2012. Were they before? Was the second one after the Giants? Before.
Before. Nah.
No, because they lost after, right? They won before, lost after. They beat the Cardinals before, and then they lost to Rodgers after.
Doing too many gymnastics right now.
Yeah, I think it went Steelers, Cardinals, Giants, Patriots, Steelers, Packers. Bruce Springsteen was at Steelers, Cardinals. Or was that the Who? Put down the chicken fingers and guacamole. All right. You're loser. Or you already gave one loser. Your second loser.
My one loser was the Giants, and I don't have a second. I need to think of a second one.
All right. Well, I'll give you my second one, and we could both take the second one because it applies to both of us. It's Hugh Freeze. So there were 21 programs that had at least 5 players drafted in the NFL draft this season. 16 of those 21 teams made the college football playoff in the last 3 seasons, which is when these players would have started at college and now have been eligible because they're juniors. The teams that did not, Iowa, who have had winning seasons, they just beat Vanderbilt in what used to be the Outback Bowl. I don't call it whatever it is now because it's always and will forever be the Outback Bowl. LSU, of course, had Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. They've had fun seasons, ruined by Brian Kelly, but they've been a fun football team. Missouri, they've resurrected their football program, and then Florida and Auburn. And Florida has a college basketball natty.
Yeah, so they're fine. Honestly, and you got to look at Mizzou and Iowa, and they definitely have had some success here and there in their past, but based on what you're talking about, they're definitely been playing at their weight class or a little bit above it. So they've got to be happy with the success that they've had over the past few seasons, like you're talking about. Really is just Florida and Auburn.
And Florida has the basketball natty. So Hugh Freeze ruined. There's no coach in college football that did less with more in the last 3 years than Hugh Freeze.
Correct.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Yeah, I mean that is, I guess, one of the L's I could talk about as well. Just the fact that Auburn only had a handful of players get drafted, and they were all over the place, and not necessarily the teams that I really want to support. I saw the Giants take one. I saw the Bengals take one. It's all your teams.
Connor Lew might get a Super Bowl ring if he can block for Joe Burrow. Keldrick Falk to the Titans.
Your faith in the Bengals is astonishing, Brian.
The Bengals had themselves a good draft. Got Dexter Lawrence there now. I might go back to the well and take him to win the Super Bowl this year. Carry-on Crawford. When my buddy texted me as a Giants fan, he's like, Auburn, or the Giants just got an Auburn kid.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Carry-on, and I was thrilled, but it was not. He went to the Raiders round 3. I really like that kid.
Yeah, another good edge rusher.
Yeah, Jeremiah Wright goes to the Saints. He'll be blocking for – he'll probably have a chance to start there.
Who did you guys get? Our center?
D tackle, Bobby Jamison Travis. Hell of a name.
The 3-named guy. Who got our center?
The Bengals.
Oh, is that who you were just talking about?
Yeah, Connor Lew. And then Jeremiah Wright, the guard, went to the Saints. And I'm sure some of these other linemen will get picked up as UDFAs. So Auburn had some decent ones. Like Dylan Wade will probably get picked up.
War Eagle.
I don't know who Justin Jones is, but he just got a camp invite. Brandon Frazier got a camp invite. That's crazy. Dylan Wade, Packers. Yeah, okay. War Eagle. Good job, Auburn. Any other winners and losers from the draft?
I gotta give the Browns a shout out. They seem to just do so many things that are like oh, that's a great pick. Like that makes so much sense. It's a great idea. And then so many that are just like, what are you doing?
They were the team that drafted Taylor Green, right?
The quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they just
Add a 60-second quarterback to that roster.
they just set a record for drafting what was it, like 6 quarterbacks over like 2 drafts or something like that. Maybe it was 4 quarterbacks over 2 drafts. Like they set some record for spending all of their draft picks on quarterbacks who will never see the field.
They can make him a tight end, kind of like I guess it was Tyree Jackson was the Buffalo quarterback that became a tight end. Yeah, they got that tackle from Utah, who of course he's worse than the one the Giants got, but
Yeah,
Browns.
See, that's just like one of those moves where it's like, yes, you took an offensive tackle because your offensive line sucks, and then it's like, okay, but you didn't take the guy that everyone touted as the number 1 guy, and hey, Trayvon Walker moment, right? Go get your guy. If you got belief, do it. So that was just one that was confusing, but I did like the KC Concepcion pick.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He was all over the field in the SEC last year, and definitely helped the Aggies look pretty good when they could connect with him on the football. So I liked some of the things they did, and their receiver room has always, I mean, honestly, when has their receiver room not been shaky?
Jarvis Landry and Odell was probably the last time they were confident going into a season. And that did not work.
That's fair to say, but that still didn't even work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you worded that correctly. They were definitely confident going into that season, but I can't remember whether it was an injury or 2 or it just didn't work out. But that was not successful.
No, I mean they did get Justin Jefferson with a 5th-round pick. That'll help.
No.
What year was Terrell Pryor a Cleveland Brown? He had a good year as a receiver there. Maybe that was the last time.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they've had Amari Cooper, they've had Josh Gordon. Like it's just never been a solid room though.
2016 Cleveland Browns.
That was the Terrell Pryor year. That feels like too long ago.
No, I was gonna say that doesn't feel like long ago enough. They had Terrell Pryor, Gary Barnidge, shout out Gary Barnidge, and Corey Coleman.
The barn burner.
Yeah. How did this team do anything? Cody Kessler, Josh McCown, RG3. Oh my gosh. Cleveland Browns. It had to be Odell and Terrell, or Odell and Jarvis Landry was the last time they were confident going in. They are just a bad ball club.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they have that 0-16 stink.
Yeah. And now the Cavs are going to blow it against the Raptors too. Poor Cleveland. All right. Speaking of Cleveland and the Cavs, I'm rattled.
How's your championship team looking?
They've lost 2 in a row, and in pretty, not embarrassing fashion, but they haven't looked good, to say the least.
What's your panic meter at?
Like a 6.5. Depending on how they come out in the first quarter, the next game could go up to like an 8. I still have faith in Donovan Mitchell, but my gosh, they've looked bad last couple of games.
Well, winning 2 at home, losing 2 on the road. Do you think that they'll be able to keep that up and maintain pace, or you think the Raptors will be able to get this momentum that they've had for the past 2 games to go steal one in Cleveland?
So part of me is like the series hasn't started yet because no one's won on the road, and if the series never starts, the Cavs will win by default, having more home games. But then the other part of me says James Harden in a game 7. And that's really just screaming at me in the back of my brain. Like I can't trust James Harden in a game 7.
Never have.
Never will. So yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, hopefully they can go grab 2 more and not have to go to a game 7. They would have to go win one in Toronto, but
Is this
I think they can do it.
how many Great Lakes has this series touched? I think it's touched all 5. How do they get to Toronto? Plane?
Or
Bus? Go through Buffalo?
maybe they take a ferry.
Sure. Well, then there's your answer. Like, what if, I guess Lake Michigan's too far over, but they touch Ontario, Erie. What are the other lakes? Superior?
Superior is one of them.
I think there's
Okay.
5.
Yeah, there are 5.
So we're missing one.
Yeah.
I don't know where Superior is.
It's the big one.
Yeah. I just don't know where.
It's like
Is it-
it's like where Chicago is.
Oh, so they probably touched that one too then.
Like I'm like trying to visualize this for you, but
Yeah. Okay,
it
wait.
sounds like you should probably just pull up the map.
I'm pulling up the map. So they've definitely touched Ontario. So Cleveland's here on Erie. So if they went around, now there's no way they've touched Lake Michigan. It's a shame.
Such a shame.
Yeah. And Superior is way up. The other one is Lake Heron?
Yes.
Lake Heron. That shouldn't be a Great Lake. No one cares about. Oh, wait, nope, that's wrong. I don't fucking know.
No, that's right.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. Great Lakes. Yeah, I'm worried about the Cavs.
Okay. Well, I would be worried if I had to trust James Harden in game 7 as well.
I'm also worried for Matt about the Sixers and the Flyers. I have a feeling the Flyers are going to get reverse swept, and the Sixers are done. Joel Embiid came back, and they lost by 30.
It was like it was a bad thing for them.
I mean, he played well, but it's just something about Embiid.
I don't
The
think
stink
people
is
like
there.
him.
No, the Sixers are ready to move on. Just take Maxey, take Edgecombe, and that's your core.
It's sad for Sixers fans, but it's true. Embiid is just not a guy like Giannis where, you have him and you can put some pieces around him and then you're going to be able to win a championship. He's not that guy.
I think even Sixers fans are ready to admit that.
I would hope so. Again, like, a guy like Jokic, a guy like Giannis, you can put some pieces around him and they can will you to a championship. Embiid is not that guy. He doesn't have that skill set, A, and B, sure as shit doesn't have that ability to stay on the court.
No. Him and I mean, no one expected the Sixers to win this series, and I honestly didn't expect Embiid to even come back in this series, so I'll give it to him there. The Kevin Durant thing is really weird to me because he just won't play. And it's not like unless I'm living under a rock, I don't think there was any news about him missing the whole series due to an injury. I don't even remember the fact he was injured.
He's got knee stuff. He's got ankle stuff. I mean, it's the point in the season where guys are getting hurt and tired. And when playoff intensity kicks in, some of these guys start to crumple down. And unfortunately, that has been a trend in KD's career. That's why I'm not totally surprised by this, is we have seen this later parts of the season, KD not being able to hold up. I don't think he's ducking. If that's what you're trying to insinuate, I really don't think he's ducking.
I don't think he's ducking. I just think it's sad.
Oh, it's definitely sad. It's definitely sad for him and for his legacy. And what we always talk about, KD try to do it without that Warriors team, and we definitely have not seen that. I'm definitely convinced at this point that he can't.
If his foot was just 6 inches back on that Nets team.
Look, I was even rooting for the Nets at that point. I was kind of buying into the revamped Nets with KD and Kyrie. And as much as I've never liked Harden, KD and Kyrie were doing it for me. That foot meant nothing. Even if it was behind the line, get over it. Like, it means nothing, man.
I'm not really thinking about it in my day-to-day life, but that's kind of the one thing I point to. Either that, or if you want to go way back, blowing the 3-1 lead to the Warriors. Those are like the 2 times he's been that close.
No, it's sad for the game of basketball that we're not getting KD at full health in these finals. And it's unfortunately something that the NBA has struggled with for many years now, is this conversation of load management and two-a-days or back-to-backs, whatever they complain about. And, but when you get down to it and it's the playoffs and you want to see everybody healthy and the best product on the court, you got this happening to KD. You got AD and Luka out. I mean, and injuries happen, but, Ant-Man got hurt. Who else was it?
DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo, no, it's Achilles, yeah. So it happens, man. But this is also why I think that we need to stop taking the regular season so lightly, is because when you take the regular season so lightly and then it's playoff time and people actually want to start trying, throwing their bodies around, going balls to the wall like you should be, their bodies aren't ready for it, and all of these injuries start to pile up. And it's early playoffs.
Yeah. Cat's coming to say hi. It's early playoffs. The product's not good. I mean, the only series I've thoroughly enjoyed in every game has been the Magic and the Pistons, and that's a 1-8 series.
Well, I think the Rockets-Lakers series has been pretty good.
It's been good because of vintage LeBron. But, the games, I guess, have been fine. But it was 3-0, and now it's 3-1. Maybe they make it 3-2 because LeBron gets tired.
All right. Well, yeah, you can't just look at the series score and say this is a good series or a bad series. If it's a 3-0 or a 3-1, it's pretty easy to say this isn't a great series. But when you look at each of the games, they've been good games.
Fine. Sure, they've been good games. Yeah. I guess it's not fair to rate the games individually on the series outcome. But this only series I still care about at this point is Magic and Pistons. I think everything else, well, the Cavs, Raptors, but those games have stunk. I don't know. I just like hating on the NBA. I think the product sucks.
Yeah, well, Celtics, Sixers, I mean, we were both on the same page. The Sixers don't really belong in the playoffs, and the Celtics probably the best team in the East. So it's understandable that hasn't been captivating, you could say. Spurs with Wemby going down, I guess you could say, for some people it's more interesting because it's going to be more competitive. And then for others, it's like, if Wemby's not playing, I'm not watching that. And so there's definitely two sides of the coin there as well. You look at the Timberwolves series, I think most people would say that's been a pretty good one.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer now with Ant and Dante going down.
Definitely. But
I guess my takeaway here is everything that's been fun has had a caveat to it. There hasn't been, besides Pistons and Magic, there hasn't been a series that I've been able to enjoy without there being a star player hurt or someone gets hurt in the series or it turns into a blowout of a series. And I've liked watching LeBron and I've liked watching Tatum. And I've liked watching the Magic and the Pistons. And I guess the Timberwolves before Edwards went down.
Yeah, see, I think there's been some good games, some good matchups. The ones that I'm not really enjoying, Boston and the Sixers, the Suns and the Thunder, not enjoying
that doesn't
one.
exist. That's not a real series.
And then this one might shock some people, but I think the Knicks and the Hawks series has been
terrible.
Weird, but bad. Right? It's tied 2-2 by your initial metric, it's a good series, right? But they've been pretty much blowouts in the 4 games. And honestly, just not great basketball. I hate watching the Knicks right now. It's not
The
it's
Knicks stink.
it's Cat's fault, but
Triple-double the other night.
cool. I'm sure SGA does that all the time. Doesn't mean I'm going to watch him.
Yeah, besides like the Hawks making that crazy comeback, and even then it wasn't a great game. It was kind of just the Knicks ahead the whole time and then the comeback at the end. It's been blowout. It's been blow for blow. It hasn't really been back and forth games. I don't know. I'm just ready for the finals. Give me Thunder. Give me Magic. May the best team win.
The Magic.
Yeah, I'm convinced the Magic are gonna go on a run now.
I thought you had the Cavs going on the run.
I've switched my stance. My bracket is set in stone, but I've switched my stance.
You are a big Paolo guy.
I love Pelo. Probably my favorite player in the NBA.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
You'd go that far?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my rankings right now are Paolo, Edwards, LeBron, Peyton Pritchard, Amen Thompson.
You're not putting Joker on that list?
No. I'm bored of Joker.
Fair enough.
Honorable mention Jamal Murray when he's good. Good Jamal Murray is fun to watch. Bad Jamal Murray is a headache.
Yeah, give me Olympic Steph, Olympic KD, this LeBron. Yeah, no, there's still some fun players out there for sure.
Let's finish it out. I need your last two. I'll make a graphic out of it.
My last two. Olympic Tyrese Halliburton. And Udonis Haslem on the last year Jimmy Butler was on the Heat.
All right. The graphic will get out tomorrow morning.
I'd like to substitute Olympic KD for. Let me get a Jersey boy.
Todd Bedford.
Nah, he's not in the league yet. I don't want to do Jalen Brunson. I want somebody better.
Josh Hart. Is he Jersey?
Yep. Well, no, but we'll take Josh Hart.
Jersey adjacent.
Yeah. Josh Hart got Hart, so we'll take Josh Hart.
Oh, what about Dylan Harper?
No.
Rutgers.
No, too young.
All right. Eddie.
Where is Josh Hart? I'm looking up where Josh Hart's from now because I'm very curious.
He might be a Pennsylvania guy.
From Maryland.
Silver Spring, Maryland. Wow, DMV. Shout out Josh Hart.
Definitely not taking Karl Anthony Towns or DeAndre Ayton.
No
Softies. Shea's not from Jersey, is he?
No. He's Canadian.
Oh, no. I'm still talking about Jersey folks.
Bridges is Jersey?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, who'd you say before Karl Anthony Towns?
Ayton?
Oh, Ayton. Ew. I thought he was Bahamas.
Bridges is from Philly.
Any hockey that caught your eye?
Ayton is from the Bahamas, but I think he played a lot of his ball growing up in the Jersey area.
Yeah, him and Buddy Hield were running around for the Bahamian national team.
Sorry, I was distracted by origins. What was the question you just asked me?
Is there any hockey that has caught your eye?
Oh, no, dude, no. With the Panthers not making the cup this year, not making the offs, my Panthers, man, I'm not really that invested in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year.
Can't say I am either, but McDavid's down 3-1.
When is he not?
You're not wrong.
I feel so bad for him. That man just wants to win, and seems like hockey's a team sport. It just seems like people are always letting him down.
He should just join the Panthers.
Dodgers of the NHL.
Yeah.
They were last year for sure.
I hate the Dodgers. I hate
Um,
baseball.
Yeah, is it staying in Florida? How are the Lightning looking?
I think they're down 3-1 to the Canadiens.
Oh, there you go. I know Carolina's got a hot team this year.
Oh no, they're Lightning are 2-2. Who? Carolina? Oh, the Hurricanes should win it all.
Keeping the cup in the South, baby. Southern hockey. Suck that,
Yeah, they just
Canada.
swept the Senators, so there goes one Canadian team. Is Ottawa? Is that Kachuk?
Oh, Brady?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I think so.
Damn, Brady's out.
So definitely not Matthew, but
All right, so we have Hurricanes moving on. We have the Flyers up 3-1. We have the Ducks up 3-1 on McDavid. The Golden Knights are ahead of the Mammoth. Pop quiz: where the Mammoth play their games?
like they're the new Western team, right?
On the right track.
Where are they? No, Seattle's got the Kraken. It's
Would you like to buy a battle?
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, they're Utah. I don't know if they're in Salt Lake City, but
Yeah, Utah. There you go.
Stars Wild are tied 2-2. The Avalanche have moved on.
How the Stars doing? I feel like Dallas has been in the hunt for the past few years and hasn't been able to knock the door down.
No. I'm rooting for the Wild in that series with Quinn Hughes. I'm rooting for all these USA heroes. We have Quinn Hughes for the Wild. The Sabres are up 3-1 on Boston with Tage Thompson. It'd be cool to see Buffalo get a win.
Them and their new beer mugs.
Yeah.
Beer Sabres.
Beer Sabres.
All right, well,
That's the Stanley Cup.
Matt, get better soon, brother. We need you back.
Yeah, Matt is on the 10-day IL with a stomach bug. Hopefully, he'll be back for Thursday's show.
So it's more like a 2-day IL, but
yeah. I guess we have 2-day ILs in Section 400. 2-day and the 5-day.
Yeah, we call it. I don't know, what do we call it?
The IL.
Something better than 2-day IL.
2-day. I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm. If you have any ideas for what we should call our unable to perform list, please comment down below. And thank you for listening for this long.
You are now in the mix with
All right, anything else, Jack?
This was kind of nonsense. Thanks for listening to us, gang.
What the hell is that?